About a month ago I thrifted this little cheap CCD point and shoot. Now, I always shoot in RAW and edit the shit out of it, so working my way around this pink pocket rocket was quite a pain. Stick around to see what kind of shots did I come up with, and also don't miss some tips for shooting cheap underperforming cameras. Okay, let's roll. I wanna get back to my X Pro 3 as soon as possible. What's up, gang? It's Aperture Value with a new cheap camera challenge episode. If you watched my POV thrifting video, you know that I came up with getting a dirt cheap Panasonic Lumix FH6 in flashy pink color because why not? Now, before showing you what I came up with, we need to discuss what the hell I was working with. So first of all, this thing doesn't shoot RAW, which is a shame, worse harakiri. Only JPEGs of 14 megapixel size. The good thing is that it has a CCD sensor, which are known to give great colors, but unfortunately the size of it is as small as our chance to get a digital X-band in the nearest future. As a matter of fact, it is smaller than my iPhone sensor. With 10-year-old electronics hooked up to this teeny tiny CCD, the performance is poor, meaning complete shit. On the bright side, the lens hits a quite wide 24mm on the wide end and all the way up to 120mm, all equivalent of course, plus it is a Leica DC Vario Samarita spherical. F yeah, I guess I can say I should like a glass now. Moving on to settings, you can't change much except for picture size, exposure compensation and ISO. Like I would touch the ISO on this thing, yeah right, good try. It also has an OIS, but I'm not sure how effective is it. As for me, it worked so-so on the long end of the lens where you really need it. So after accepting all that and getting familiar with the given limitations, I took it with me constantly everywhere I went. It's probably the most pocketable camera I have ever owned, only maybe after Insta360 Go 2. Not missing a chance is a core task of these cameras, and I totally took advantage of it. But given that, I still try to shoot in a good sunny weather only, cause like I've said, I don't wanna touch that ISO. So should you if you wanna try some old cameras. Let it be the first tip. All my shots were made at base ISO 100. Another aspect of these kind of cameras to consider is the small sensor and JPEG files. That means, although it is a point and shoot, I took my time to first compose the shot as good as possible and second, to take few more alternate angles and compositions. This way I won't waste any extra of already small and low quality JPEG files for cropping or perspective adjustment. Another tip would be to not trust these small and low-res LCDs at all. Even if it looked alright, I would use the exposure compensation to take an extra shot above and below the auto exposure value given by the camera. Now moving on to editing, since again we're dealing with super small sensor and hugely compressed files, the main tip is to do as much in camera as possible, even though some of the things are easier to do in post. That means you need to think a little bit more ahead about how do you want the image to come out in the end, in terms of looks. Finally, when exporting, I did a digital enlargement to all the photos in Photoshop. Sometimes I do that to my other works when they come after major cropping and lose too much resolution. This is the very final step, so make sure you have your image done completely. First we go to image size and increase the resolution by 50–100%. You can leave resampling algorithm in automatic. Then we go to camera raw filter and do some badass denoising, because together with resolution we also blowed up the noise in the image. After denoising, apply some sharpening to a taste, and final step is to apply grain afterwards, just enough to make the details pop. I would usually zoom into some edge or small pattern for reference. Fine grain can really make the image better and sharper without giving that digital over-sharpened look. Overall, I enjoyed this little challenge. It is a whole other experience and it's more affordable than spending a fortune on some new gear for the same goal. And once again, I proved to myself that even with a crappy little camera like this, it is still possible to do my style of photography. Of course, some other photographers are taking a great advantage of forever evolving technology like ISO and autofocus, which is fine, but for me, low and slow is the way to go. But as much as I've loved the idea of using a cheap camera like this, one try for me is enough though. Actually, I'm happy it's over cause it felt like cheating on my X Pro 3 with a grandma.